Bhagavate Shri Arunachala Ramanaya.
यो वै भूमा तत्सुखं यत्र नान्यत् पश्यति यत्र नान्यत् शृणोति यत्र नान्यत् विजानाति स भूमा अथ यत्र अन्यत् पश्यति अन्यत् शृणोति अन्यत् विजानाति तद् अल्पम्. This is a famous statement from Chandogya Upanishad. That alone which is infinite is happiness. The infinite is that where one does not see anything else, does not hear anything else, does not understand anything else. Hence, the finite is where one sees something else, one hears something else, and one understands something else.
Thank you. Living in this world, interacting with things, beings, moving in different situations, how can you be into infinite? And how the finite doesn't affect you? Very simple way and very simple truth. If you behave as finite, finite will always affect you. And if you behave as infinite, finite has no value for you. Not that you stop respecting things, but you become indifferent to all things. They are all the same. Stay as infinite, in infinite, and be free. When we talk about freedom, that I want to be free, even a common man thinks that freedom means free, like he can move out, he can go wherever he wants, he can do what he wants. Nobody should control. That's what a common person who works in the domain of ego thinks, that I should be free. Most of the conflicts with partner are about the way they think my freedom is being hampered by other. Because mind wants to do things in a certain way. It wants to enjoy. It wants to behave in a certain way or do things in a certain way. And we think it is freedom. Because at level of ego, that is only what we know. That finite one wants to become infinite because it has some memory that what it was before. It was that infinite being who was always free, always in peace. Now behaving in that small ego entity, it wants to be that. Now it looks around the tools. It has mind, intellect, and body. And its field of action is this word. And it wants to express. sometimes in form of creativity, invention, discovery, doing good work, and sometimes pure indulgence for sensory pleasures. Whatever done at the in domain of mind, at the end, it always brings suffering. Why is that? Some poor illiterate people might think that someone who is a professor in university is in bliss. It's not true. Educated people are more entrapped. Intelligent people, so called intelligent people, are more entrapped. They have bigger egos. Their sansar is wider. And they have things to prove that they are on the right path because they have got honors, achievements, certificates, recognition. So they think this is the right path. They are constructive. They are constructive. It might help society. But if the ego is getting bigger and bigger, they are in bigger trap. Expansion of the ego is not freedom. It is more bondage. This finite being called ego, if you start expanding it in whatever way, even becoming a president of a country or a prime minister of a nation, you are not free. It feels that I have acquired, but that one which thinks I have acquired, actually that has gone bigger, and that is bondage. Because ego wants to achieve that infinite, and ego can never do that. An ego has tools. I am the body. I have a mind. These tools are enough for suffering. We call it I am the body idea. Even if you don't understand from the perspective of infinite, understand if you are this body, you become finite, isn't it? If you are finite, how can you have infinite bliss? Tell me this. Dehatma bhav, this sense of body. Body sense, ego sense is one and the same thing. Ego thrives only on this body, as I am this body. With this bhav, this sense, you can never achieve infinite. So the scriptures say, if you take this body as real and work with this body and with this mind to achieve that infinite, it is like you are trying to cross the river, taking that boat of this body, which actually is a crocodile. It will never make you reach to the destination. If you want to have that infinite bliss and you want to be that infinite, you have to leave all those tools which keeps you in this world. I am pure awareness. In spite of using a body, go beyond body. You are that pure awareness. You know that pure awareness in your heart, and then you know the infinite awareness as you. Keeping the mind interact, ego intact, you cannot know that self, that infinite bliss. You yourself is at stake. Understand ego and bliss are mutually exclusive. Till there is ego, there can never be eternal bliss. Remember this. If you want to keep this ego and wants that bliss, it will never happen. Remember the truth, ego gone and there is bliss. Eternal peace is the parting gift of ego. That eternal peace prevails when the ego disappears. What is ego? Ego is our mental construct. Ego is illusion which makes us believe that I am this body and I am separate from others and I have to do these things and I have to achieve these things. And if I do this, then I will be happy. All our life rotates around this ego. In search of happiness. At the end, we only get suffering and eventually death. It is a very miserable situation. You ask word experts on happiness, and they will tell you walk on the beach, eat healthy stuff, do exercise, socialize with people, have small achievements in life, and some more points. And maybe do some mindfulness every day, 10 minutes or 20 minutes. They never question ego. It is blind guiding the blind. Then comes a sage who is not following any of these rules. He has no social life, he has no money, he is not putting efforts on exercise or body. He sleeps under the tree, lives in a cave, and he is in eternal bliss. You don't have to live under the tree. You just have to give up this ego sense. You have to give up your story. Death of the ego give rise to eternal bliss. This is deathless death. Once ego dies, then there is no more death. Otherwise, this cycle continues and continues, never ends. Remember, it is an unending cycle. Even when this whole world ends, nothing is left. That one with the ego still survives. That ego survives everything. It remains dormant. And when the word manifests again, it again germinates, takes up a body and continues. Even end of this word is not end of the ego. But end of the ego is end of the word for you, even if the word continues. For every human being, this is the most important thing to be done before death arrives. Finish this ego. Finish it first, then do other things. If you don't finish it now, then you have postponing it for next birth. At least in this birth, you are a bit convinced that I have to do this job. Next birth, you don't know. This is a very serious matter. If you understand truth, how to finish this ego, how to attain eternal bliss. Just by pure attention, attention to awareness, and watchful vigilance to ego. Stop feeding this ego. Stop looking for all what ego wants. Stop all fuel, all food supply to ego. Start detaching yourself from body sense. Stop pampering your senses. All party invitations people write, looking forward to it. Now start looking in, looking backward always. Look inward. If you are full of desires and worldly attachments, this mind will project only outwardly. And this outward projecting mind wants peace and bliss and attends a satsang. He is only fooling himself. It can have some peace in satsang, but that's not real freedom. That same mind has to merge in that pure awareness. And that can only happen when there is no ego sense. When I am, the body idea disappears. If you have this I am, the body sense, you will keep looking outward to satisfy this body. The moment you realize I am not this body, all your energy goes within. Your attention goes to pure awareness. Body stays or body leaves, doesn't matter. Some people get little bit of a disease, and that shows the truth, how much they are attached to body. They will call dozens of people, they will look around, they will make havoc as if they are going to die tomorrow. So much of dehatma buddhi, attachment to body. You cannot fake it. I am not saying if there is a disease, don't treat it. Just like maintaining your car. But don't start feeling I am this body. What will happen if it disappears? I will be dead. Mind serving this body cannot look for God within. Understand this truth. It cannot serve two people together. It is mutually exclusive. On path of freedom, you have to finish your ego. Ego is samsara. Ego is this world. Ego is suffering. You cannot keep this ego and know the bliss. Bliss is the parting gift of ego only. Keep this ego under your foot. Crush it. Just like the Nataraj idol. Shiva dancing with the ego crushed under his feet. Then only you can dance. Then only you can enjoy. Then only you are free. If your mind is too extrovert and cannot understand this truth, then start taming this mind. Then you can use some elementary practices, pranayam, breathing exercises, yoga, concentrating mind, trata kriya, different mudras, gestures. Japa can help you to bring that focus within. So Bhagwan used to say, this understanding is for a very mature, ripened seeker or devotee. The one who already had vairagya, dispassion for everything around. The one who is mumukshu, the one who is longing for that, who is a devotee of Absolute. This path is for the one who has this discriminating power, Vivek. You are this deep ocean of bliss. Abide in this stillness of ocean of bliss. Surrender your ego to this pure bliss, bliss of self. Merge in it. Give up your individuality. Once you have given up this conditioning, you become this infinite space, infinite space of awareness. There is nothing to own here, nothing to discard. When you have discarded everything, then what is left is that pure bliss. We were holding all these things which we never owned. Even though everything stays the same, but ownership gone, you are in supreme bliss. This is the first time you realize yourself, your real self. That resume which you have sent to a company or for a job is not you. That is all story of this body and mind. You are that witness to body and mind. Always uninvolved. We use the term bliss, but this is indescribable. Term bliss doesn't say anything about it. Perhaps there are no words for it. Because the words are in domain of mind. Mind has no clue. You are beyond mind. how big this universe appears, how much variety there is. Still, everything is projection of mind. You are that infinite behind the mind. Reclaim your own silence, pure silence. Speak from this silence, act from this silence. Abide in this pure silence. As this silence, don't own any desires and attachments. They have nothing to do with you. They come from ego and they will disappear when the ego dies. This whole world has no power to keep you in illusion. Only that entity which has some business with this word makes it continue. You are not part of that entity. Give up all your relations with this ego, with this body. No ownership, no doership. Yet everything happens. And so says the sage that everything is divine planning, happening the way he wants. If he wants to claim he is a doer, he can. But I am not the doer. But in honesty, I cannot be a doer only if I have no desire. Desires and doership goes together. Desirelessness is non-doership. And that is egolessness. And pure bliss. How intensely mind wants to pull you out from heart, or how intense there is a desire, or how strong is a like and dislike. You stay as a witness. Just be. Perfectly still. And don't move. And don't do anything. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.